Hello Twin Flame friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte at Happy Twins 1111. So today we're going to do a quick update on your DM's karmic situation, how he's feeling, thinking about that, what his intentions are moving forward. I did do an energy update for the DM and DF energies for the collective yesterday. That's obviously a single reading that looks at the collective energies in both, so I thought it would be helpful to do a pick a card reading as well, so that you guys can get a more individual response. Before I start, and you're thinking about which pile you're going to choose, I would like to put a call out for volunteers for a really special and exciting research project I'm working on. I'm feeling so excited and positive about this. To explain it in brief, there is more information in the box below if you can't be bothered to listen to me, and the timestamps are there too if you want to flick straight to your reading. But just to give you a brief outline of why I need volunteers, and it will be hugely beneficial for you and your twin flame connection, because in my day-to-day role I'm also a spirit release therapist, and that basically involves connecting to my client mediumistically, to look at their energy, their auric and etheric field, to see if there's any negativity, any attachments, anything that needs clearing. And that treatment's normally used to help people that are either feeling possessed, they've got mental unwellness such as depression, anxiety, they're hearing voices. It's very successful for people with schizophrenia, psychosis and so forth. But really it's good for anybody. I clear all my friends, and you know, particularly if you're going into hospital, because you can pick up a lot of negativity there under a general anaesthetic. So it's a very common therapy. But whilst I was doing this recently for a twin flame, a lady who's experiencing a twin flame connection even, I was guided by John, who's the spirit guide I work with during these treatments, to do a twin flame light activation. Now, I can't find any information on Google that corresponds with what I saw, what I've been learning, and I'm really keen to explore that modality further. In order that I can do that, I need some twin flames to come forward and volunteer to allow me to connect to them energetically and see what I'm finding, so that I can start to measure the differences. And all I would want in return is just a little update from you every now and then, so I can see how that treatment has impacted your connection. And ideally, I need a cross range, you know, an average distribution of twins in all different stages of the journey. So if you're at the beginning, you know, if you're in separation, if you're runner or chaser, you know, all those varieties and variables, I need to look at as many as possible. So if you are going to volunteer, please don't tell me anything about yourself or the twin flame connection in your email. Just drop me an email offering to volunteer and I will send you a form to complete. I'm working in partnership with another YouTube twin flame reader called Made for Love. Her link is also in the description box below, and she and I will be in touch to get the ball rolling with you. So have a look at the description box to find out more. There is more information. I do talk about this in my last video as well, which is titled Rainbow of Hope. So go and have a look there, and I look forward to hearing from you, hopefully, about that. You can also find out what decks I'm using today in the description box below, and you can also find out the information there, how to book a reading with me, or how to donate if you're feeling called to participate in any energy exchange, which helps keep my channel going and alive. I'd really, really appreciate that. So go and take a look. And as usual, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps a new girl out. So let's get started with pile one and this beautiful piece of fluorite that we have here. I love this bit. This bit's actually from Mexico. I'm a big fan of fluorite. Okay, so I don't read with reversals in this deck. We're going to look at where your DM is at with his karmic, and what's going on in that connection, how he's feeling about the karmic, how he's feeling about you, and what his intentions are moving forward. So let's do this. If they turn out reverse to this deck, I will turn them upright. So we'll start with how he's feeling. Or sorry, let's start with what's happening in the DM's karmic connection. Okay, just going to move these back a bit. So in terms of what's happening in the connection right now, we've got the Nine of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Knight of Swords. And this particular divine masculine, he's still kind of hanging in there and looking to make this right. There is a desire for independence. You know, that's what we see with the 9. That's about, you know, really looking at one's own feelings, one's own situation. And there's definitely a consideration of moving away from this. And we can see with the Knight of Swords here, this came up in yesterday's reading as well. You know, he is looking into the past with his sword held aloft. And that is about starting to, you know, cut away at the past and to remove anything that doesn't serve him. But I feel like this divine masculine is torn. This guy probably has a family to consider in this equation. So if I pause, I'm channeling Arthur. Yeah. So this isn't an easy decision for this divine masculine. I'm feeling a lot of emotional division. On the one hand, he wants to, you know, appreciate some time on his own. He's starting to, you know, look at taking care of himself and doing what's best for him. But he's torn between this idea that, you know, he doesn't want to destroy his family. It's not an easy decision for him to walk away from that. And with this awakening card as well, and this judgment, as you know, judgment has many facets, but Arthur's really guiding me to say, and a rainbow came up in yesterday's reading as well. That's why the reading was titled Rainbow of Hope. But Arthur's really guiding me to say that there is a lot of emotional division with this guy, and we can actually see this reflected in this card where there's 3 different scenes. There's this dark night of the soul, there's this beautiful rainbow of hope, and then there's this watery, emotional, although it's a much calmer situation. And you know, he's really being prodded spiritually to start making a decision. And I do feel like this is the beginning of ascension for him. He's in a fairly good place, but he's also starting to, wow. So you need to see my reading yesterday because this just flew out as we're talking about this. This is the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Fire, the Queen of Spirit. This is for me right now, and I know for Made for Love as well, this is the Divine Feminine card. So, you know, he's really feeling pulled in polar opposite directions. His family or his beautiful twin who brings him so much spiritual abundance, emotional satisfaction and joy. It's not an easy decision. And we do see him, you know, really looking backwards at you know, what needs to be cut away. There's a lot of kind of logical considerations there as well. And I feel like the 10 of Discs, even though it is a card of kind of family abundance, it's also about the earthly practical matters of the family unit. You know, bills, home. You see there's a little house here. You know, he's really considering how this is going to work from a practical perspective, how it's going to impact his material life. But this is, you know, with this Judgment card, this is a powerful time for him in terms of decision making. And the fact that our Queen of Wands card came out there really affirms that he's very focused on his Divine Feminine and trying to find a way to move forward with that. So let's see how he's feeling about his karmic. Wow. Honestly, I can almost feel this guy's anxiety in my chest as I'm looking at these cards. This is a really majorly difficult decision. And I feel like part of the problem with this guy that he's really struggling with is that sorry, I'm just listening to Arthur. Okay, this makes more sense. So we've got the Queen and King of Swords here for feelings on either side of this lineup. And Arthur's saying, you know, this is a practical meeting of the minds. This is about, you know, it's a relationship of convenience. There's so many things right about it. They probably want the same things in life. You know, they have similar viewpoints, similar parenting views, but there's no there's no deep love or emotion in this connection, and he's really longing for this King of Wands energy, for this King of Wands relationship. He wants more balance, which he's not finding in this connection. You know, we saw him going into battle with that sword, and we see the King of Swords also facing in that direction. But, you know, this King of Wands energy, I mean, even the scene looks a lot more passionate and creative and lovely. But, you know, I feel like he's really, really stuck with this. I don't feel like either he's that unhappy with his wife or partner, his karmic partner. I don't feel like the situation's even that toxic. But it's not. Arthur's saying it's not. It's not even it's not toxic, it's just lacking. It's lacking in emotional depth. It's lacking in emotional fulfillment. And he's intellectually stimulated. There's a lot of conveniences in this marriage and a lot of unity, but it doesn't have this fiery, creative chemistry and emotional depth which he's found in his divine feminine. And he's really torn. He's really, really very, very torn and weighing this up at the moment. So let's see how he's feeling about his divine feminine. Wow. This also came up yesterday. Okay, so he's feeling very guilty. He's feeling a lot of shame. He's hurting. You know, in this card we actually see, this is the Ten of Swords, and we see this gentleman just with knives coming out and through him at every single angle. But some of them, and I hope you can see this, are crowned with flowers. You know, they're actually blooming flowers. And this shows us, I think, he's really, you know, he's really hurting over this decision, but he's aware that he needs to go through this pain. He needs to go through this situation to come out the other side. That's what those flowers blooming are about. You know, he's feeling the depth of that soul connection. We have the Six of Cups here, which for me is the soulmate card. He's really feeling very deeply connected and fulfilled by his divine feminine in a way that he just doesn't in his existing karmic relationship. And he is doing the work to try and resolve this situation. We see that with the Eight of Pentacles. You know, this guy being hard at work, creating something beautiful. And we've also got the Knight of Cups, which is coming forward with messages of love. You know, we've got that beautiful shooting star, which is about materializing wishes. And he's holding out this cup, which is absolutely overflowing with love. It's overflowing with joy. And, you know, this is the first card we've seen that where the individual is actually facing forward. He's facing forward. And in this card, the Six of Cups, he's again offering that cup of love. Yeah, in the hope that there's a hand reaching out to receive it. So, you know, he's feeling very, very torn right now in his karmic situation. But as far as, you know, he's hurting being apart from his divine feminine. He's wanting to move this forward. We also got the Eight of Wands fly out, as I said that, which is about rapid incoming change, messages of passion, messages of desire. So, you know, that immediately followed the Knight of Cups. He's torn though. And Arthur's saying, you know, you're not going to get a resolution from this guy quickly. He's really torn right now. So let's see what his intentions are moving forward. So many synchronicities with the recent readings. Okay. So there's going to be a period of waiting because he's got a deep battle. And this is a battle with his heart, with his higher self, with his spiritual leanings. This is a battle that will arise because of this. You know, when we look at this whole row, you've got Judgment, you've got the King of Wands, you've got this Eight of Discs, Pentacles, and then we've got Five of Wands. And you can see this guy here. Remember, wands represent spirit. You know, you can see how traumatic and difficult that decision, but he's holding one wand, but he's aware, you know, this is going to create conflict. It's going to be a battle for him to move forward, whichever direction he chooses. He needs to be more grounded in himself. We've got the Queen of Discs or Pentacles here, and I feel like his intention is really to kind of ground himself in the present, to keep looking backwards, to keep looking into the past and working out what needs to be cut away. And with the Five of Wands and the Three of Wands, we really see him waiting, this period of waiting and making a decision of reflection. The Three of Wands for me can often mean having arrived at it, you know, at fulfillment, at having made that decision. But Arthur's guiding me to say in this card, it's very much about waiting. You can see this gentleman looking out at a calm ocean. You know, the clouds have almost receded into the distance, and he's thinking very deeply about what his next move needs to be. So I don't think you're going to see any immediate action from this divine masculine. I think you will see communication and a lot of messages, but I think you need to be patient with him and understand that he really is stuck between a rock and a hard place, because, you know, in order for him to move towards you, he's going to have to hurt his family. He's going to have to uproot and unsettle that whole dynamic, and it's not an easy decision for him to make. So let's look at what the divine feminine can do to move forward for the highest, greatest good of this connection. What does she need to do? Learn from spiritual experiences, trust and thrive, be the light, and feel loved and comforted. Okay, so, you know, learn from spiritual experiences and embrace your peace. Okay, you need to be really connected to spirit. You need to make sure you're meditating, that you're doing that inner healing work. And regards the trust and thrive card, this is the stag. You know, this is the symbol of divine masculine. And you need to trust that this situation will work out. I know you're in a lot of pain right now. I know it's hard to hear that, you know, you're not moving towards union. But you have to remember that, you know, union isn't the be-all and end-all. And the karmic partners serve your connection as much as you serve each other, because they allow each of you to learn and to learn those important lessons. And, you know, he's a good man. If it was as easy for him as to just dump his family and run towards you, you know, that would say a lot about his character. But he's a good man. He's a good man, and he's, you know, that's not an easy thing for him to do. Be the light. Embrace your own wisdom. Okay, embrace self. We've got a lot of female divinity here, and Mother Earth. Feel loved and comforted. You know, by grounding yourself in your present, being mindful, meditating, really connecting with your own inner self-love. That's where you need to be right now. And I do feel like with this learning from spiritual experiences and this gentleman releasing the dove, it reminds me of that saying, you know, if you love them, let them go. And, you know, that's what unconditional love is. That's what the twin flame connection is. It's about loving without expectation, letting them go on their own journey, releasing them with peace, so they can, you know, make sense of their own situation and come back to you more whole. And it does say to trust and thrive. Trust your divine masculine. Be your own light. And, you know, give yourself that love and comfort. There's a lot of butterflies in this card, you know, and this is really about embracing your own healing and the transformation that brings you. So that's a really very powerful lineup. So for those of you that chose this, you know, trust, don't lose faith. I know it's hard when you're in separation. I know it's hard when all you can focus on is union, but it doesn't serve you to just focus on that. You need to focus on your own healing and your own self-love and abundance, and, you know, give your divine masculine space to find his own way on this journey, as hard as that is sometimes. So pile one, I hope that helped. Please comment down below and let me know if it resonated for you. So pile two. So let's have a look. What's going on in his karmic situation? I do work with reversals with this deck. What's going on with this situation with this divine masculine's karmic? Wow, Judgment card came up in the same position as pile 1. Okay. So there's a lot of unequal give and take in this card. And, you know, I feel like actually it's the karmic that's being quite ungracious. We see in this card the Six of Pentacles, or coins as it's known, this divine masculine reaching out with a gold coin, and this divine feminine really not acknowledging that gift and certainly not giving anything back. And he's done, you know, he's done with making this sacrifice. He's done with being pulled in that direction. When we look at this card upright, which is, this card is actually the Hanged Man. It's called Sacrifice in this card. And you see this divine feminine, or this lady, this, you know, sorry, it's probably the karmic, you know, grasping at this man's arm and trying to pull him backwards. And he's kind of, you know, rejecting that. You can see he's pulling away. And this card is reversed. You know, I feel like he's not being pushed around anymore. He knows he's given so much to this connection. And with the Judgment card coming up, you know, he's really weighing things up. He's in this card, he's looking up at that balcony at this lady, and he's got his hands on his hip and his stick out, and he looks tired. He looks exhausted. With the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, he can't be bothered with that work. We see very little effort going into this karmic connection at the moment. I feel like this guy has had enough. Arthur's telling me this is a very toxic situation in which he has given and given and given and really been taken for granted, but has felt powerless to step away from it. He just felt stuck there and magnetized to it. And it's because he's not learned his lesson yet. He's not resolved it. But let's see how he's feeling about her. Yeah, he's not feeling good. We've got the Prince of Cups in reverse. You know, upright, this is the Love card. It's messages of love, of joy. And he's not in that energy. He's not feeling that for her. He's had enough. We actually see him weighing up his options, looking at what else. How can I move away from this? What choices do I have? One of those options is death, an ending, you know, bringing that cycle to an end. And he's seriously considering that now. And we also see him in this Queen of Swords energy, which, while she's very passive in this card, you know, she has got hold of that arrow. She's got these birds visiting her who are messengers of spirit, and she's really looking, you know, from this now from a much more cold, harsh perspective. He's not messing around. He's not messing around with this now, and you know, he feels burdened. He feels tired of this connection. He feels like he's had enough with this Ten of Wands energy. You know, this is the card of just being so overburdened, so sick of thinking about it. So, you know, I think this guy, he's definitely coming to the end of this cycle with her. He's lost hope. He's lost the desire to make it work. He's lost the desire to make it change. So let's see how he's feeling about his divine feminine. That fell out. That is so beautiful. So this is the Empress. And again, in this card, you see her being held in such a supportive embrace by her Emperor. And this is actually Cleopatra and Caesar, which is a beautiful and loving union. We've got the lion here symbolizing strength, compassion, empathy. So that's a beautiful card to come up for feelings for his DF. Let's see what else we've got. And that's a major as well. We've only had 2 majors so far, sorry, 3. He's hurting without her. Wow. He's in a lot of pain. He's really hurting. And you can see how the Ten of Swords is displayed in this card. You know, all of this pain and then this arrow, you know, shooting away. Really trying to remove himself from the hurt he's feeling in not being with her. He doesn't know how to come towards her. We've got the Two of Cups in reverse here. And, you know, he's feeling really hopeless. He doesn't know if she's an option anymore. He doesn't know if union is possible. And he's definitely feeling less than abundant. He's not feeling good enough. This has been a really common theme in a lot of my Divine Masculine readings. This feeling of just not being good enough, not being worthy of this connection. So I'm seeing a lot of love here, a desire to create something new, a desire to move forward, but really feeling in a lot of pain and absolutely stuck with this idea that he's not good enough and he doesn't know if the offer's still open to him. So Arthur's saying, if you've been in separation for a long time, this Divine Masculine really isn't sure if you've moved on or not. And he's afraid of how he's feeling right now. He doesn't know if you are a viable option or not. That's hurting him. He's very, very much in love with you, but he doesn't know if that ship sailed. He feels like he's left it too long. Let's see what his intentions are. Wow, this is so similar to part one. So in terms of intentions, again, this came up for part one. We've got the Six of Cups. Yeah, he knows this is a soul deep connection and he wants to explore it. We see him coming out of the woods here, tentatively stepping into the garden and embracing those cups, embracing that union. But we've also got the Hierophant in reverse, and I feel like he's afraid that okay, so I'm getting the feeling of hold on. So Arthur's telling me that this connection between you, if you did come into union, he's saying heads will roll. He's saying it would, technically it shouldn't be allowed. I'm feeling cultural differences here. I'm feeling like an age gap and big cultural differences, and that the family involved, perhaps even a big difference in religious beliefs. That's he's very afraid of that. But we also have the wheel here with Danae and Zeus. And, this is about, in this deck, it's called Fortune. And you can see this spiritual being here blessing this lady, coming down to reassure her that if she creates something new, that he will give it his blessings. So he's really feeling, in fact, this card is Romeo and Juliet as well. We all know that story, the star-crossed lovers, whose families were arch enemies. So he's afraid of that, and he's really looking for some spiritual guidance, for some spiritual blessing, for some good fortune. But he's trapped. He's trapped in his own fear right now. He doesn't know a way forward. In terms of what his intentions are for the future, he recognises this soul connection. He wants that spiritual blessing, but I'm feeling like there's a big cultural and religious divide between these twins and their families, and that feels really insurmountable for him at the moment. So Arthur's saying he's just so lost with it. He's really very, very miserable right now. He's in a lot of pain. He's stuck in a karmic situation, which he's ready to move away from, but doesn't know how. And I feel like actually his family supports that karmic relationship, and he's getting a lot of pressure from that as well, from his own family. He's really going to have to be very, very brave to move forward, and he's not in that energy right now. He's just not. So what does the Divine Feminine need to do to help move this connection forward for the highest, greatest good? Set your sights higher. Shift your perception. Connect with your emotions. Make plans and focus. So set your sights higher, I'm being shown, is to look to your higher self for guidance, to look for a higher perspective, to look to your spirituality, to your connection to source, to get the guidance you need to move forward with this, because you need to change your perception. I'm getting a lot of anger from this divine feminine, that she's just very frustrated and tired of waiting for her twin. And I don't think you're quite appreciating the gravity of this decision for him. You know, making a decision that's going to alienate you from your entire family and social group is painful. It's very difficult. Connect with your emotions and connect with his. You know, try and have a compassionate heart. Try and understand. And with this, make plans and focus. You know, this lady is ready for battle. And I'm feeling like this is what you two are going to face. From both sides of the fence, from both of your families, you're going to face a lot of Arthur's saying massive animosity. This isn't an easy relationship for either of you to move into. You're both going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. But you need to develop a compassionate heart for your divine masculine right now. I feel like it's the divine feminine that's single and the divine masculine isn't. And even though her family are going to struggle to accept this union, his family are going to be furious that he's leaving what they see to be the right partner from a religious or cultural perspective. So I hope that helps, Pia too. I'm just gonna turn the light on because it's getting dark in here. Oh, that's better. Hopefully you guys could see it anyway. So let's move on to pile 3. Let's see what the pile 3 divine masculine is thinking, feeling, what's happening with its karmic. So I don't read reversals with this deck either. If you are called to donate or do an energy exchange, you can email me about my deck wish list as well, which helps to keep my readings fresh. A new tarot deck is my most exciting thing ever. Right, so what's going on in this guy's twin flame connection? Oh, again, lots of similarities and synchronicities. Wow. This guy's really in limbo. He's very, very torn. So even though this situation is exceptionally toxic, he has a powerful devil attachment to this karmic, and he swings between absolutely loathing her and being in this very conflicting, very harsh and cutting energy to absolutely adoring her. And I feel like that's what their relationship has always looked like. You know, one moment they're madly in love and the next minute they hate each other's guts. And they're still in that. He's still stuck in that toxic cycle. He's not seeing how toxic it is. But time is running out on that. You know, we see that in this 5 of Swords with this egg timer in the sand just dripping down, 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 and a rose blooming out of that timer. He's torn. He's stuck in a really awful cycle. I feel like one minute it's just all roses and beautiful and wonderful, and the next minute it's just full of hostility and toxicity. This is not a nice situation for him to be in. And, you know, that devil energy indicates really toxic attachment and obsession. It's not a healthy situation. Let's see how he feels about her. See, again, we still have these conflicting views. Okay. So we've got another 5 here. We've got the 5 of Wands, which is also the card of conflict, albeit not quite as cutting. So he's not seeing how toxic the situation is. You know, he's acknowledging the conflicts, but he's trying to normalise that. He's trying to, you know, tell himself it's a normal part of union. And I really feel like he swings between I get the impression as well that this karmic girl in his eyes is superficially a good catch. She's arm candy. He feels quite proud of her. He feels quite victorious and happy to be walking around with a girl like this on his arm. I'm feeling like there's not a great deal of intellectual connection between them. It's very much superficial. There's a lot of fire and passion and chemistry, but not a dramatic amount of love. The love in its if you had to measure it in terms of energy, is immature. But he's still hoping for a new start. He's not seeing that this isn't right for him at the moment. So I'm really sorry if you've chosen path 3, but this DM is stuck. He's still going around in circles with this karmic. And I don't see him stepping away from it at the moment. He's not seeing the light. He's not seeing the truth of the matter. He's not in that energy. He's beginning to, but he's definitely not there yet. Time is running out on that connection, but it still has a way to go. We'll see how he's feeling about his DF. Wow. Queen of Wands again. Okay, so this guy knows he's hurt you. He knows that in being with his karmic, in not coming towards you, he's hurting you. And I feel like he's run. He's decided that he can't keep hurting you. He's not going to leave his karmic yet, and it's you that he's left. We see that with this death card in bringing things to an end, because he just couldn't cope with that deceit. We've got the 7 of Swords here. He couldn't cope with that deceit, the dishonesty and the deception. And, that this karmic 3, this kind of love triangle, it's you that he said goodbye to. It's you that he's pushed away so that he can pursue this karmic relationship. And I know that hurts, but you have to know that he does see you as this Queen of Wands. She is the spiritual lover. She is the person in his heart, in his soul. That's a very powerful card to come up in his feelings for you, but he has rejected this connection. He is rejecting this connection because he's still in this toxic cycle with his karmic. Let's see what his intentions are moving forward. Wow. So he wants a new beginning. He dreams about it, but he's vulnerable right now and he's naive. He doesn't know how to make that happen. I do feel like you're going to get an outpouring of love, an outpouring of emotion. And he's going to be, he's going to be coming from a place of real passion and chemistry and much more balance. But unfortunately, I do see him disappearing again. I feel like he's going to come towards you saying, let's do this. He's probably going to be after an argument with his karmic. He's going to rush towards you with messages of love. And then like a firecracker, he's going to explode and vanish again. So you need to be really mindful of that, Divine Feminine, because this guy, he's not ready to move on from his karmic. He's very torn. He holds you in very high esteem. But, this Page of Wands energy in terms of his intentions and the future of this is fleeting. And in this card, we see this beautiful butterfly moving backwards, yeah? The Page of Wands isn't someone that hangs around. He's someone that comes for a good time and moves away quite quickly. It's a very fast-moving energy. So, I think he's going to mess you around a bit more before this moves forward in a tangible way for you too. I'm really sorry to have to report that. Let's see what the Oracle deck can advise the Divine Feminine to do in the interim. How can she help move this connection forward and care for herself, the highest, greatest good? Move in a new direction. That card's called the Traveller. Transform and unveil your gifts. Take charge with authority. Retreat and recharge. Okay, so Arthur's really telling me that you have to release this hurt that you're feeling. Otherwise it will overwhelm you, and it's only you're gonna get stuck in this runner-chaser dynamic of him coming towards you and running away again unless you take charge of this situation. You know, that's what this card is. Take charge, take authority, take control. The Traveller asks you to move in a new direction, and whether this is literally traveling, you know, if you've been thinking of going away, of just getting away so that it's out of sight, out of mind, and you have the opportunity to do that, do it. Yeah, move in a new direction. If it's not a literal moving away to another country, to another place, then, you know, you need to make changes in your life. You're really being pushed to take a new path, to transform yourself and unveil your gifts. And remember, this twin flame journey is a gift. Stop kidding yourself that your divine masculine is your gift. He's just the icing on the cake. If you come into union, that's wonderful. But there are so many more blessings for you to still have and hold. And you're really being called here, transform and unveil your gifts. You're a light worker. You're very spiritual. You're very psychic. You know, you need to step into your own power, which is what the Hermit card is about. Retreat and recharge. Get into your Zen place. You know, start meditating, connecting with your higher self, connecting with your power within, connecting to spirit. The Hermit is about going inside and activating one's own lights and shining one's lights and really working out what's good for you, for your highest, greatest good. It's really powerful. I know this is, you know, I feel like this couple are really in that painful runner-chaser stage, which I know is hard. But you can get through this, Divine Feminine. You know, this journey really does serve you, even when you think it doesn't, even when it feels painful. It does allow you to purge. And he's learning too with this karmic, as toxic as that situation is. So I'm sorry that's not more positive news to you, Pile 3, but you've got this. We're all in this together. And, you know, all the support you need is here in this community, in these readings. You know, you've got to support one another and stay strong, and that's what all us Divine Feminines are doing right now. There's real power in connecting to the sisterhood and finding that support. So don't give up, reach out. So Pile 4, let's see where your Divine Masculine's at with this karmic. What's going down in that connection? So a lot of defensiveness and conflict. Wow. So Judgment's come up in, I think we had Judgment in all but one. The only unawakened twin was Pile 3. So Judgment has come up in the top row for all three out of 4 of these readings. Okay. So in his karmic situation right now, there is a lot of conflict. He's feeling very defensive, but he's not quite made a decision how to move forward yet. He's still in limbo with this 2 of Swords energy. With this Judgment card, and in this card you see the dark side of Moon with this chink of light on the other side of it, this silver lining, you know, light emerging. And, you know, this is really not just about his awakening per se, spiritually, but also him now starting to look very, very clearly with Judgment at what this connection means. And feeling very stuck, you know, with how to move forward with that. I feel like he's beginning to understand that he's on the dark side of the moon. That's what you literally see in this card. And, you know, he knows there's something better on the other side of it that he needs to move towards to. So he's not satisfied in this karmic relationship, but neither is he confident enough to make that decision to completely move away from it the minute he's stuck in limbo. A lot of emotional division, which we saw in one of the other piles as well. You know, this King of Pentacles energy, you know, unlike the others, he does feel very secure and stable in this union, even though it's not completely fulfilling from an emotional perspective. I feel like it's very secure and stable, and that's something he holds in high regard. So it's not going to be easy for him to move away from this. And, you know, this defensiveness he's feeling is coming from a spiritual place. That's why this energy is Wands. And I feel like he's not quite understanding that yet. He's looking at this karmic situation and thinking, You know, we've worked really hard to have this lifestyle, this stability, the security as a couple, but it's just not fulfilling me now. And that's creating conflict because his karmic can feel him pulling away. She can feel his indecision right now. And he's really, you know, giving that a lot of consideration. He's very much torn. See how he actually feels about her. Wow. Okay, so we've got the Emperor, the High Priestess in reverse, the Maiden of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. So, you know, I do feel like he is very dominant in this karmic relationship. You know, he really, especially with the King of Pentacles there, I feel like he feels very responsible as well for his karmic partner. I feel like maybe she's a lot younger than him. She relies on him, but he's not getting the emotional and spiritual fulfillment from that. She is emotionally mature. This is what we see with the Maiden of Cups, and she has a very narrow viewpoint of what love looks like. This actually came up for one of the other piles as well. I feel like she's a bit of arm candy. You know, it's a fairly superficial connection. He doesn't feel that real connection, that real mystery, passion and chemistry of the High Priestess connection, which I'm feeling is his divine feminine. That's clouding his judgment. And you've also got the Three of Pentacles here, you know, which is literally a love triangle. We see that in this card. So, you know, he feels in control of this relationship. He feels love for her, but it's superficial. It's immature, it comes with responsibility, and it's not fulfilling. I'm feeling like with the High Priestess in reverse, she is not the woman. She is not a mature, powerful woman. This flew out here as well. When I said she is not the woman, the Two of Pentacles flew out, and that's, for me, one of the Twin Flame cards. She is not the woman. Let's see how he feels about his divine feminine. Wow, another 3. The World. Another 7. He's really struggling with this. So the Three of Swords is hurt. So Arthur's saying as well that this divine feminine also has options, perhaps not a karmic partner, but she's dating. She's keeping her options open. She's not hanging around for this guy, and that hurts him as well. You know, he doesn't like being out of control. And, you know, he really feels like you are his world. But he's also, I feel like, put a stop to this relationship. He's put the brake pads on because he doesn't like being out of control, and he took that control himself. He's not prepared to leave his karmic at the moment. And, you know, I feel like the divine feminine in this situation has really fanned the flames by saying, well, stuff you, I'm going to keep my options open. I'm going to go and shop around as well. He's feeling very unbalanced about it. He's not sure if there's an equal give and take there. And I feel like actually he's a little bit audacious to expect that, given what he's contributing to the connection, which he's coming at it from his own love triangle. This also flew out. The Four of Swords, you know, he's really thinking a lot about you. He's really reflecting on this connection. But he is feeling, you know, pretty prickly about it. I feel like he's really divided. He's hurting. So that's Temperance. You know, that's a steamy chemistry there that he's feeling. But he's afraid as well. I feel like these two are quite early on in their journey. I feel like there's a lot of games here, a lot of mind games back and forward. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve either of you. No one's coming forward and really saying how they feel. They're kind of like, well, if you're not going to call me, if you're not around, if you're not going to bend over backwards, then I'm not either. I feel like there's a bit of a standoff here with neither party really wanting to communicate their truth and communicate their true feelings. I don't feel like you've had that conversation. But know that you are on his mind. It's really annoying him. He doesn't like not being in control. And I think that's one of the things that actually attracts him I said he doesn't like being in control and that you're butting heads. This is the card that came out. You know, this standoff, this of, you know, neither party refusing to give in and acknowledge what's actually happening between you. Because you're both afraid. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of laying yourselves bare. You're afraid of being hurt. So let's see what his intentions are. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be honest. He just wants to be happy. Okay, he's reaching for the light. I feel like this guy is the typical alpha male. He also wants an easy life. And until this gnaws away at his heart enough, until it starts eating at his soul, he's not going to take action. And he's kind of hanging in this card. Now, this is the Five of Swords, but in this deck we see this moth hanging. And even though hanging isn't the best feeling, hanging on, he also knows he's got to go through pain to release himself from that hanging, because he's going to land on those swords. And that's conflict. You know, he's got to release himself from this situation he's stuck in. He's going to have to face conflict. He's not ready for that. And he's not ready to talk. He's not ready to let his thoughts go. You know, we see up this queen here holding on to that eagle, refusing to release it. Remember, eagles are messengers. And she's refusing to get that higher perspective in this card, refusing to release that conversation, that communication. And with the Hangman in reverse, that is also a refusing to see, refusing to look at your perspective, refusing to surrender to a different perspective. So, you know, this divine masculine's stuck. I feel like you guys are certainly very early doors in your journey. You know, no one's really laid down their feelings, and this is a bit of a mind game standoff. I feel like we're dealing with a very alpha male and a very alpha female here, two very, very stubborn people. Two very stubborn people. Let's see what the divine feminine needs to do to move forward with this connection and her own healing. Feel loved and comforted. Grow within your current situation. Make plans and focus. And exchange energy to create abundance. So, you know, feeling loved and comforted and about stepping into this empressy, very nurturing energy. This is about caring for self. This came up in one of the other piles as well. You know, there's a lot of butterflies in this card. There's a lot of new growth. This is about developing self, expanding self-awareness, giving self that love and acceptance that you need and deserve, giving yourself that comfort, creating this place for yourself. Butterflies are about transformation. This card is about your own personal growth and transformation and giving yourself that which you need from, or you think you need from him. You know, wise one, grow within your current situation. Yeah, grow within your current situation. You don't need him to achieve that growth. And make plans and focus. Focus on yourself. Focus on your own future. This lady is ready to do battle. She's not going to be taken down in pain. She's not going to allow that. She's not going to wallow in hurt. This is a stubborn, powerful, alpha divine feminine. And I feel like even though she's broken right now, she's hurting from this connection, she's going to know exactly how to power through it. Any energy exchange to create abundance is about giving back. You know, this card's called Trader. And if you're involved in retail, in trading, in finance, in sales, you know, you need to find a healthier outlet for that energy exchange. You know, when you give back, that's when you create real abundance. That's what completes the circle. It's doing that from a worthy place. After saying this divine feminine, her career is at odds with her belief system and her values and her moral viewpoint. Exchange energy to create abundance. Energy doesn't always mean money. Currency is a form of energy, but it's not the only one. So you need to change that. You're being called to grow within your current situation, make plans and focus, and give yourself that love and comfort you need to grow. So part 4, I hope that was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Have a great day.